The mysterious woman from a parallel universe. We've all heard stories of people accidentally stepping into a different space-time dimension. But this story goes even further. Someone from another world suddenly finds themselves in ours. If invisible parallel universes exist alongside the one we live in, then isn't it possible that someone could accidentally enter one of them due to a strange anomaly? And if that happens, they may find themselves in an unfamiliar world, one they might never return from. There have been many mysterious disappearances, as if people vanished into thin air. Could it be that these individuals accidentally slipped into another universe? Scientists around the world are trying to find solid evidence to support the multiverse theory. Not long ago, NASA announced they were funding a space project that could offer proof of parallel universes. While scientists continue searching for other dimensions and realities, we sometimes come across strange stories about people who may have unknowingly crossed into a world invisible to us. But there is one story even stranger and more unsettling: someone who lived in another world, suddenly finding themselves here. To them, our universe would be the parallel one. The disappearance of Lerna Garcia. That is exactly what is said to have happened to Lerna Garcia, a woman from Spain. One day, she suddenly felt that something was very wrong with the world around her. Her story sounded so bizarre that many people needed time to even consider it seriously. It was easy to dismiss her account as delusion, but what if it was real? Could she truly be a visitor from another world? Did she fall into our universe due to a cosmic accident? It all began when Lerna woke up in her apartment one morning. Everything seemed normal until she noticed something strange. She didn't recognize the bedsheet she had been sleeping on. At first, she thought little of it. But soon, more strange details started surfacing. Her apartment looked the same, but certain objects were not in the right place. Some were missing. Others were items she had never seen before in her life. The boyfriend who never existed. But the most shocking thing was this: her boyfriend was gone. At first, Lerna assumed he had just left, but the truth was far more disturbing. She tried to call him but couldn't find his number. She asked her friends, but none of them had any idea who she was talking about. Desperate, Lerna contacted the police to report a missing person. The police told her that no record existed of the man she described. He simply didn't exist in their database. Despite being completely sure of her own mental state, Lerna visited a psychiatrist. The doctor suggested she was experiencing stress-induced hallucinations. But she disagreed. She was certain something far more serious was going on. Memories that don't match. A family. She barely recognized Lerna returned to her parents' house hoping to find some sense of normalcy. But things only grew stranger. She mentioned her older sister who, as she recalled, had recently undergone shoulder surgery, but her parents said nothing like that had ever happened. When Lerna asked her sister directly, the response was chilling: "I've never had any surgery. Ever." Lerna began to feel as though she was living in a distorted reality where events she remembered clearly had never taken place. It was as if her memories were aligned with a version of reality that no one else could see. Familiar job. Unfamiliar life back at work. Lerna's confusion deepened. She was still employed by the same company, but now assigned to a completely different department in a part of the building she had never set foot in before. She felt completely disoriented. Trying to hold herself together, she decided to speak with her supervisor to explain that she wasn't feeling well. But to her shock, the person who now held that position was a man she had never met in her life. Yet he spoke to her as if he knew her very well. Lerna still carried her same driver's license, same ID card, everything matched. But her life, the details, the people, the timeline had all shifted. She remembered very specific events that people around her insisted had never happened. Her boyfriend, whom she knew so well, had never existed. The furniture in her apartment familiar to her was either misplaced or completely different. She wasn't crazy. Lerna had never been diagnosed with any mental illness. She didn't use drugs. She wasn't an alcoholic. She was just a regular woman telling the world a story that no one wanted to believe. Despite being ridiculed, Lerna remained convinced that she had crossed into a different universe, one almost identical to her own, but not the same. Eventually, she began to accept her fate. She might be stuck in this world permanently, and might never find a way back to her own. What do scientists say? Many people dismissed her as delusional, parallel universes. That's science fiction, they said. But modern science doesn't reject the idea so easily. Astronomers recently discovered a cold spot in space, an area of the universe that is drastically colder than its surroundings. It spans 1.8 billion light-years and is believed to be about 13 billion years old. Some scientists believe this cold region might be the first real evidence of another universe brushing up against our own. They theorize that the cold spot could be where two universes intersected. If proven, this would confirm the existence of the multiverse, a network of infinite universes existing simultaneously. When the multiverse is no longer just fiction. Many scientists believe that the observable universe, no matter how vast, is just a tiny fraction of a much larger cosmic ocean that we haven't even begun to comprehend. According to the multiverse theory, parallel universes may exist where there are versions of Earth, of the solar system, and even of you. This concept has long inspired science fiction, but it's now gaining serious scientific attention. Physicists classify parallel universes into 4 levels. Level 1, universes that exist in the same three-dimensional space as ours, but lie beyond our observable range. Level 2, universes formed within separate bubbles, each with different physical properties isolated from ours by immense distances. Level 3, universes that exist in extra-spatial dimensions, possibly right next to us, only a few millimeters away, but imperceptible, because we're confined to 4 dimensions. 3, spatial plus 1 time. Level 4, universes governed by entirely different fundamental physical laws. Some scientists suggest that our universe might have 11 dimensions, but humans can only perceive 4. That means there could be parallel universes right beside ours, almost touching, yet we cannot see, feel, or interact with them. What if someone just like you is living a different life? Right now. If parallel universes do exist, then somewhere out there is another you, living a different life, making different choices with different memories and consequences. Same name, same face, different destiny. For centuries, humans thought Earth was the center of the universe. Later, we learned the Sun was just an ordinary star in a galaxy of billions. And now, if the multiverse is real, then even our universe isn't unique anymore. Lerna, a glitch between 2 realities. Lerna. Garcia's story may sound far-fetched, but as science begins to touch the edges of higher dimensions and other realities, who are we to say it's impossible? If what she experienced is true, then she may be the first living proof of what happens when 2 realities collide. A person misaligned, dislodged, or thrown from her original universe, into one almost identical, but not hers. A person who may never go home again.